Hey guys, it's Ronnie from Southern Food Junkie, and if you've watched my last two videos, you've noticed that they've been restaurants from Edisto Island, South Carolina. I wanted to share this little narrated video along with some video clips from the island, and we'll get to it. So we went to Edisto Island for about a week. We left on a Saturday, and we got to Edisto Island. Took about 3.5 hours from where I live. And on Sunday, I had planned on going to Botany Bay. Botany Bay is like a 4,000 or 5,000 acre piece of property that was donated to the South Carolina Department of Wildlife. It used to be two Sea Island cotton plantations. I think they've had it since 04, 06, and it's been open to the public. It's a very unique place. It used to have trees that went all the way up pretty close to where the sea would come up, where the ocean would come up, but it's a barrier island, and now there's all these dead trees. You see a lot of pictures floating around on the internet from Botany Bay, trees, driftwood, and there's lots of conch shells and different types of shells that come up in this area, and people will take the shells and hang them on trees. It's kind of like a little tradition thing. So anyway, we went there. The plan was to get there early before high tide, which was at 10 o'clock. We were going to go fish this. They got a lake in there called Jason's Lake. It's kind of in the middle of the property, and the intercoastal waterway. There's some of these tidal creeks that actually feed this lake. It's full of flounder and redfish, spot-tail bass, what have you. Anyways, we went there, of course, with the kids and the family, and the drive. We didn't end up getting there till 12 o'clock, so it really messed up the fishing part. But we had fun. It was really hot. It was the middle of the day, so everybody. And this was probably the hottest day on record for South Carolina this year. Dew point was high, humidity was high. So anyway, the tide was out because we missed the high tide, and it was on its way back out. So you can see from the pictures here, we kind of set up camp along the banks. Found a crab there that had been laying out in the sun, and he done turned red, so we didn't end up catching anything there. So anyway, we cooked. Some of the other stuff that we did at Edisto was ride our bikes. There's the beach. We rode the bikes everywhere this week. 13.5 miles to be exact. Another thing I did, the bonehead thing that I did was planned on catching some shrimp while I was down there in throw net. So I had scoped out this area on Google Maps, and I had found the perfect place to launch my kayak. It was in a creek. So when I first pulled up, I noticed it had riprap around it, and I was so excited. I went down there with the throw net, threw the throw net one time, perfect circle, beautiful cast, hung the net, tore it all up. I borrowed the net from my brother. I knew he was going to be mad at me about it, but I finally got the net to pull up. It was shredded to pieces. I had a bunch of fish in there. I could see them popping up, so that kind of set the mood kind of bad for the week. But the next day I went back to this spot, and I was walking on the riprap, and I noticed a little minnow trap down there. So I thought it was just somebody had lost it at first. I'm like, I don't know, 7 or 8 foot below the bank, down below the normal water line. So I'm down in the canal. I'm not really on anybody's property. I'm walking around there. I picked the trap up. It has a piece of rope that goes up to the bank. So I was like, oh, somebody done set this in here and then got it stuck, so I'm going to throw it up on the bank. And this guy comes flying across the road, hollering at me, telling me I'm trespassing, all this stuff. So that kind of, with those two things right there, it kind of set the week, started off kind of bad for me. But we ended up having fun. Like I said, I rode around the island on the bike. We rode the bike just about every day, rode to the beach access. Another cool thing about Edisto is they have the Loggerhead Turtle Project going on. They started it 20 years ago. They said that loggerhead turtles, once they're born, they go out into the ocean and hang out in the ocean for about 20 years before they are able to have babies, and they'll come back to the exact same spot that they were born. So they started this project about 20 years ago where they monitor the nest and try to do preventative maintenance on them to help them have a successful hatch rate. So this year they had the most nests that they've ever had, and the program's been going on roughly around 20 years. So that was the reason why one of the volunteers told me that it was doing so good. So we watched them dig up a nest of eggs that hatched like 3 or 4 days before. They dig them up to see if they have any turtles left down in there that's hatched that couldn't get out. They say that the ones on the bottom hatch first and they climb their way up through, and then the ones that are on top are left in the bottom, and sometimes they have a hard time getting out the hole. So about Edisto Island, Edisto Island has no franchise restaurants except for Subway. We knew this in advance because we have a bunch of friends and family that go there, so we brought a bunch of our groceries with us. There's one grocery store on the island, and it's Bilo's. There might be about 8 or 9 restaurants, maybe a little bit more. Most of them are local owned. We did a review on McConkey's Jungle Shack, which was an open air restaurant. The seating area, they have a screened in porch, and then they have a unscreened in porch. It's a really cool place, really good place to eat. There's also the Sea Cow Eatery, which we wanted to try but never got around to. Oceanfront, there was some called a beachfront eatery, and then we also ate at Whaley's right here that we did a review on. And Whaley's was pretty good. It's supposed to be like a top 25 dive seafood restaurant in the country. I liked it, but I've been told that I should have got some other things there by some local people since I released my video. So next time I go back, I'll definitely try out those recommendations. What we did while we was at Edisto was we cooked dinner almost every night, except for the 2 nights that we went out for supper. We had Low Country Boil one night. We also cooked salmon. This is the, I had 4 fillets of salmon like this. I took 2 gallon size Ziploc bags to Edisto with me. I gave a gallon away to one friend. I gave another gallon away to a neighbor. And I gave another gallon away to one of my cousins, and her husband and their family ate it. So that was a very good meal. We had chicken kebabs one night. With chicken, peppers, onions, and pineapple on it. And we used a teriyaki marinade. And we cooked hamburgers one night. And the last meal we had was tacos. So we ate really good while we was there. We had breakfast. We would alternate pancakes and bacon or pancakes and sausage, and then the next morning we would have we'd have grits and eggs and bacon with that, or either sausage. That kind of alternated every day. But Edisto, they recommend not drinking the water there. The water is very brackish, and you can taste it when you're taking a bath. You can taste it when you're brushing your teeth. So anything that you're going to be drinking, you need to bring your own water. You can go to the fire department, which is located on Murray Street, and the fire department has a place where you can fill up your gallon jugs or whatever you bring with you. You can fill it up there. It's filtered, and that's what most of the local people around there do, and people that's been coming here for a long time. Instead of, and that's what we did. We bought 6 gallons with us. You know, water, a gallon of water is like, I don't know, 79 cents. Once we used that up, we took it to the fire department and filled them up, and then come back. And but there's good news. They are building a reverse osmosis water treatment plant. I think maybe next year it'll be done. So that's pretty good, news. Also, while we was here, we stopped at, we went to the Bay Creek Park a few times. One of the times we was there, they have there's not much there as far as like playground or stuff like that. There's a big green area, and there's like a little amphitheater where they have concerts and show movies. I think a couple of nights they have movie night there. During the day they do have like an open air market where they sell crafts and maybe produce and stuff like that. But they also have a fishing pier located in the park. Now the Bay Creek Park is located right beside the Edisto Marina. And there is a boat landing at the marina in case you want to put your boat in. I think they charge $5. But at the Bay Creek Park at the pier, we went fishing there one night. Caught a few little fish, nothing major. I think I caught a kingfish, or people also call it a whiting. Caught an oyster toadfish, and then I caught a stingray or skate. I'm not sure which one it was, but that was pretty fun. And I did also do some surf fishing, and I didn't ever catch anything from the surf. But about every 200 yards, there's these pile of rocks with a talon in it. And what I would do is sometimes when the tide was down, I would walk across those rocks, and I would find rigs where people had broke them off. You know, like the rigs that people use in salt water with the diamond-shaped weight, and they'll have the 2 hooks up above it. And usually they have they're all that stainless steel. So I think we found 3 of those. I found 1, and my father-in-law found 2. And but if you go there, that's a good place to check out when the water's down. Looking at those little crevices of rocks, you can find pretty cool stuff. We found a conch shell with a crab in it. It was a pretty good size, one about the size of your hand. The beach was pretty nice. It was kind of dirty there at the time we went, but there had been a lot of rain, so that's kind of to be expected. There is one resort that's on the island. I think it's a Windham Resort. You do have a swimming pool there that you can stay in. It has a golf course in it too. The bill fishing tournament was going on. The South Carolina Governor's bill fishing tournament. That was pretty fun. That went on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Thursday night we got there pretty early, about 4 o'clock, and we waited till the weigh-in was at 5. And we watched the weigh-in. We was anticipating them bringing in some big billfish like marlins, white marlins, blue marlins, swordfish, etc. But it's actually a catch and release tournament. The only time they bring anything in is if they're like really, really huge. If they're really, really huge, then they get the boat gets like a big payout for that, something like $80,000. Now these boats that's in these tournaments, they're like $1 million boats. And some of the cool facts about them that I've asked while I was there is that it takes like roughly about, I don't know, 2,600 gallons of fuel. And you heard that right, 2,600 gallons of diesel fuel to fill these boats up, somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,000+ to fill it up. They're going 60 miles from Edisto the jetties, the Gulf Stream. So it's pretty cool. They come in, everybody that comes in, it takes them about an hour, hour and a half to clean their boat up. They wash it down, spray everything on the whole outside the boat to get the salt water off of it to keep it from corroding, because the salt water is so corrosive. One of the cool things that we liked was looking at the names of the boats. There was one called the Trash Man. There was one called Anticipation, which Anticipation brought in a big fish last year and got an $80,000 payout. And there was one called Bad Becky, which was the people my mom actually works for the people who actually own that boat, so it was kind of like a little tie in there. We didn't know it at the time when we went down there until we seen them and figured out who they were and all. But all in all, Edisto was really fun. If I go back again, I want to go back in the fall time when it's much cooler and I can just kind of ride the bike more, and the heat's not so unbearable, I mean. So hope y'all like this little video here, and like I said, I hope it wasn't too boring. Just something I was trying to do a little different, and it's, like I said, it's kind of for my memories too, to keep for my vacation. So we'll see y'all guys next time. We appreciate y'all stopping by, and remember, let's get food, y'all. Located right here off of Murray Street, right in the middle, kind of towards the end of the island here, and it gets crowded really quick. Becomes highly recommended from lots of people. We gotta wait about 45 minutes for our group tonight.